Sunday, November 21st, 2010. As the Afghan sun rose over Patrol Base Dakota, 20-year-old Lance Corporals Nick Eufrazio and Kyle Carpenter stood behind a wall on a rooftop, eyes locked on the horizon, guarding their fellow Marines. The crackle of AK-47 fire echoed through the compound. Just another morning in Taliban country. Then Carpenter heard it, a metallic clink. A grenade lay at their feet. Without a second's thought, Carpenter hurled himself onto it, absorbing the blast with his body. When Eufrazio came to, he saw his buddy Carpenter lying in a pool of blood, his face unrecognizable, his arm mangled, his eye hanging from its socket. But Eufrazio was still breathing, because Carpenter, always faithful, put his brothers' lives above his own. Or, as Marines say, Semper Fidelis. William Kyle Carpenter was born in Jackson, Mississippi, the oldest of three brothers. Raised in a tight-knit, supportive family, he spent his childhood playing football and pushing himself to excel. From youth leagues through high school, football was his world. But as high school came to an end, a new calling emerged, a desire to serve a purpose greater than himself. Answering the call in 2009, Kyle enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, fully aware of the risks. America was deep in two wars and the stakes were high, but Kyle was determined. Nothing would stop him from becoming a Marine and serving his country. Kyle graduated from Marine Corps Recruit Depot Paris Island and was assigned to Fox Company 2nd Battalion 9th Marines. In July 2010, Kyle's unit deployed to Marja, Afghanistan, a hotbed of enemy activity in the notorious Helmand province. The terrain was brutal, flooded farmlands, sewage-filled canals, and relentless heat. The fighting was relentless too, with firefights erupting daily, from sunup to sundown. Fox Company was ordered to push south and secure a new patrol base deep in enemy territory. They seized a compound surrounded by 10-foot-high mud walls and named it Patrol Base Dakota. With no heavy equipment and a denied request for reinforcements, they hand-filled over 250 sandbags, building makeshift guard posts using nothing but collapsible shovels. It didn't take long for the Taliban to strike. On the first day, they crept through an irrigation ditch just 30 yards away, hurling grenades into the base. 2 Marines and an Afghan soldier were wounded. The enemy was closer than anyone had expected. November 21st, 2010. As the sun rose the next morning, Kyle Carpenter and Nick Eufrazio pulled lookout duty on a rooftop, scanning for Taliban. With sandbags in short supply, their cover was thin. They ran through what-ifs, what they'd do if the enemy fired or if a grenade was tossed. Then it happened. The Taliban opened up with small arms fire. A grenade arced through the air, landing between them. Without thinking, Kyle threw himself on it. Fox Company Corpsman Chris Friend sprinted through a hail of gunfire to the rooftop, where his friend Kyle lay bleeding out. Marines rushed in, finding Kyle gravely wounded and fading fast. As Friend worked frantically to save him, Kyle muttered, "I'm going to die." But his brothers wouldn't let him. They fought desperately to keep him alive until the medevac bird touched down. The blast tore through Kyle's body, inflicting catastrophic injuries from head to toe. Lance Corporal Nick Eufrazio was also gravely wounded but survived, thanks to Kyle's split-second act of selflessness. Kyle's right eye was destroyed. His lung collapsed. His body was shattered. He flatlined 3 times before reaching the trauma center at Camp Bastion, where doctors declared him PEA, patient expired on arrival. But they refused to give up. reviving him multiple times. From there, Kyle was flown to Landstuhl, Germany, and then to Walter Reed. For 5 agonizing weeks, he lingered in a coma. Then, against all odds, Kyle Carpenter opened his eyes, broken but alive.
They showed the medical CT images of his injuries on the screen and showed how his mandible had fractured into multiple pieces, had lost all of his lower teeth.
Kyle literally was wounded from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet.
His heart had stopped. He had undergone massive resuscitation. He had injuries consistent with a grenade blast.
Essentially nobody survives a grenade blast.
Kyle spent nearly 3 years in the hospital, enduring over 40 surgeries to piece his shattered body back together. He lost his right eye, suffered brain damage, and had nearly every tooth blown out by the blast. But lying in that bed, he made a silent vow. He wouldn't just survive. He'd come back stronger. If he could sit up, he could swing his legs over the bed. If he could swing his legs, he could stand. If he could stand, he could walk. And if he could walk, he could run. And run he did, parachuting into the 2014 Marine Corps Marathon before crossing the finish line. As Kyle put it, pain is inevitable. Quitting is not.
Doing just fine. It's my pleasure to let you know that based on the recommendation of the Secretary of the Navy and Secretary of Defense, I've approved the award of the Medal of Honor for your courageous actions in Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom.
Kyle received a call from President Obama. The president informed him that he would be awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions in Afghanistan. On June 19, 2014, Kyle stood in the East Room of the White House, surrounded by family, friends, and fellow Marines, as the president recounted his incredible bravery.
Hand grenades are one of the most awful weapons of war. But we are here because this man faced down that terrible explosive power, that unforgiving force, with his own body to protect a fellow Marine.
If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. If Kyle Carpenter's story moved you, consider supporting his mission by checking out the Headstrong Project, Sentinels of Freedom, and the Kyle Carpenter Scholarship Fund. Links are in the description below. Make sure to check out Kyle's inspirational book, You Are Worth It, Building a Life Worth Fighting For. Link at the lower left of your screen and in the description. Want to hear more stories of American heroes? Check out some of our other videos and let us know in the comments. What does courage mean to you?
Kyle, you not only saved your brother in arms, you displayed a heroism in the blink of an eye that will inspire for generations.
Kyle's journey from a small-town kid in Mississippi to a battlefield in Afghanistan is a powerful reminder of what it means to be always faithful, the very definition of Semper Fidelis, the Marine Corps motto. To Corporal Kyle Carpenter and all Marines watching, Semper Fi.